Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gaff Major and this is what to expect in regards to HMS London. So HMS London will be a Tier 5 British premium cruiser, and this what to expect is going to be based off of the numbers and details provided on the PC, plus what limited teasing we've had of HMS London on World Warships Legends, plus some of my best guesses and assumptions based on comparing the numbers provided to the existing numbers of the existing ships within World Warships Legends. But if you're here expecting to see any footage of HMS London gameplay, then I'm sorry to disappoint. In the background will be a gameplay of HMS Exeter, which is a Class B heavy cruiser, whereas HMS London is going to be a Class A heavy cruiser. So they're very similar, but there are going to be differences, of course. And I should note that please take this all with a pinch of salt. The stats provided are subject to change upon release of the ship, if they release her. Now, all of the following stats are going to be as usual in comparison to the tech tree ships unless otherwise stated. So the majority of these stats will be in comparison to the tech tree tier 5 cruisers unless I state otherwise. So survivability, you're looking at having the highest base HP and highest HP pool in comparison to the tech tree cruisers. If you include the premiums, then you are looking at being second best to the Graf Spey. So she's quite a chunky girl, is the best way to put it. She's got a lot of staying power, which is going to be quite nice when it comes to that HP pool, really. I'd almost say partially expect her to feel a bit like the Trento, the tier 5 Italian cruiser that has just come to the game. Now, artillery wise, you are looking at having 8 8-inch guns in 4 dual gun turrets. You'll have A turret, B turret super firing up front, and then you'll have X turret super firing with Y turret at the stern of the ship. So this makes her different to Exeter in that you do have 2 guns at each end of the ship. So therefore, when you're making your engagements, you're not sacrificing any kind of DPM if you decide to break off the engagement and retreat from the enemy. We could expect to see a very short range on HMS London of only 13.4 kilometers. This is the shortest for the tier by a considerable margin. Turret traverse speed will be the same as the Exeter, but better than average, better than the Nuremberg if you're looking for a direct comparison. Reload speed will be overall slower than average for the tier, but within the bracket of the other 8-inch cruisers. So that's the Aoba, the Pensacola and the Trento. And you can chuck the Exeter in there as well, they're all 8-inch cruisers. Now their reload times, I think the Aoba's 10.5, most of the others are about 15 seconds. Now the reload speed expected, it could be up to 15 seconds, but if I was a gambling man, I'm going to say that they're going to give HMS London the same reload time as HMS Exeter, which is 12 seconds. So it's kind of in the middle of the bracket. However, whereabouts they go with this number is up for debate. HE and AP shell damages will be the same as the Exeter, which will give her the highest HE shell damage in comparison to the tech tree cruisers, second best fire chance, above average AP shell damage as well in comparison. However, overall you are looking at the worst DPM for high explosives and armor piercing, and you have the worst fires per minute in comparison. However, because you have that additional turret, it is worth mentioning that if you play the Exeter in comparison to her, you are going to be slightly better than the Exeter due to your additional gun turret when it comes to DPM and fires per minute. Moving on to torpedoes, we have 2 quadruple launchers, 1 port, 1 starboard, so you've got 4 torpedo tubes per side, 1 launcher per side. Now these will have a 106-second reload for the launcher, making it the second slowest launcher to reload and also the slowest per tube, so your torpedo rate of fire is not going to be looking too good. Torpedo damage is the best for the tier in comparison to the tech tree cruisers, but if you include the Exeter you have got slightly less than the Exeter. Torpedo range is only 7 kilometers, so is below average, but the torpedoes do have an average speed of about 59 knots. Manoeuvrability, you have a below average speed of 32.3 knots, a joint second largest turn circle of 710 meters, and an average rudder shift of 7.8 seconds. Concealment is larger than average, detectability of 1 kilometers at sea. Now the Consumables is quite an interesting one. This is where they have partially teased, so from what they have teased, we are looking at having 2 smoke screens, 3 sonar, and 2 repair parties. Now the easy one to go over is going to be the repair party. I'd say expect the repair parties to heal 173 HP per second for 28 seconds. That means each repair party would heal 4,844 HP, so from your 3 repair parties base you should be looking at a return of 14,532 HP. Now the next easiest one to go on to is probably going to be the smoke screens. Considering that the Leander and the Exeter have exactly the same smoke screen, I'm going to say London's probably going to have exactly the same smoke screen as both these cruisers. This has a 15-second duration, that's how long it takes to lay the smoke screen, a 99-second dispersion, that's how long the smoke screen is going to sit around for, and then a 240-second reload. Now the last one, the tricky one, is going to be the sonar. The Exeter had a very special long-range sonar where it could pick up ships at like 5.1, 5.2 kilometers, so very, very nifty. However, I don't think they're going to give London the same sonar as the Exeter. My reasoning is, if they make the London too good, then why would you want the Exeter? So there has to be some form of trade-offs, and when you consider that London's going to have more HP, more DPM, the torpedoes are slightly worse. Manoeuvrability, slightly worse rudder shift, slightly large turner circle, slightly faster. Concealment, slightly more detectable. I think they're going to give London here a normal sonar for the tier rather than anything special. Then that way it gives Exeter something special over the London, really. Now, what we can expect from the standard sonar, it's going to be the same as the Leander, which means it's going to have a 92-second duration, 180-second reload, will detect ships at 3.9 kilometers and torpedoes at 2.8 kilometers. Now, if London is released, it is assumed that she will be released either on the 21st or the 28th of September, and I'd assume that she will be for 10,000 doubloons. If she comes out on the 21st, however, from a back to the port point of view, I'm going to be on holiday, so I won't be able to, well, I will purchase her, but I won't be able to review her and have that released during that week. However, if she comes out on the 28th of September, then expect me to review and let's play as per normal. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this what to expect video. It just gives a bit of like context as to what's coming, because obviously with World of Warships Legends, it's very hard for people to actually gauge what to expect when ships are coming, because they don't tease them enough, they don't trailer them, they don't really give the CCs sufficient information to obviously provide you with the details beforehand, and so you just end up with crazy people like me who try and do their best guess while comparing to other games. Now, if you do like it, feel free to give the video a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, feel free to check out some of our other videos and maybe subscribe if that tickles your fancy. To our existing subscribers, I'd like to say thank you very much, guys. It's always much appreciated, your support, comments, and your submissions for amateur reports and sea trials. If you have any of your game captures that you'd like to submit, our email address is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, the link to Patreon is also down in the description. Until next time, I'm the Galloping Major, and back to the port.